Oh, hello there, outliers. Niiamah Shang here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We have an incredible experience here because we have an outlier who continues to redefine his own game while continuing to explore and expand what's possible for us. Uh, Ryan Hagen, I'm glad that you're here. Thanks so much for making the time here. Thanks for showing up in the world in the way that you do. Thanks for coming to share a bit about your experience here on the roundtable.
Yeah, thanks, Niiamah. I'm excited to be here. Appreciate the invite and yeah, excited to chat.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's make something happen out of it. Let's make sure outliers get a chance to get to know you. You mind letting us know more about you and the game you're playing?
Yeah. So what comes to mind for me when you say that is honestly uh it's kind of deep and we're gonna get deep right off the bat here. Um
Perfect. Oh, thank you so much. I'm like, this is exactly what we want to hear. Go ahead, man.
yeah. So this is back in 2017. I actually spent months writing down and refining these 200 words, which are what I call my truths and life intentions. And the gist of that is basically the truths are kind of, reminding myself that I'm gonna die, that it's a miracle I'm here right now, that this earth is just like a speck in the bigger universe. And all life is literally like biologically related to each other. So we're biologically a family. We're all like cousins. Um, and some other parts of the truth are that, we'll only ever have the present moment and that our life basically consists of a multitude of these present moments, of these nows. And I'm, when you say the game I'm playing, I'm doing my best to live the present moment, like according to my values as often as possible. And so I'm trying to spend my time, loving myself, friends and family, other life I interact with. And my big mission, my work is really to help prolong life on Earth and maximize the quality, like improve the quality of life on Earth, for people and beings everywhere. And so that's like my big overarching picture, kind of my North Star. And I wouldn't say I do it well all the time, but that's what I'm aiming for. And I think I get a little bit better as time goes on. And that's kind of the point of that whole thing. So that's what comes to mind. I know that's big and deep right off the bat, but that's where my mind goes.
But like there it isn't. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like thank you is firstly what I'll say. Um, Big and deep, I think is what we're looking for, right? Because there's a way that we could have had this conversation that would have been like a 12-minute conversation about tell me about the bullet points on your thing.
Yeah.
Like that's not the conversation we're here to have, right? What we're here to have is a conversation that says like for those of us that think deeply, that respond deeply, that choose to look out to the future of generations of humankind while still staying like anchored in the present moment. Like,
Yeah.
how do we navigate that in and how are we navigating that? And so there's like you'll hear with me, Ryan, that I'm very intentional with my language.
Yeah.
I believe that the things that we do, it's modeling the future that I want to see in the future. Yeah, that's it. Modeling the future I want to see right now. All right.
Totally.
And so what I got that about you, I got that like, oh, this is someone who comes in with deep intention. This is someone who like shows up and says, regardless of how things might be, like I'm going to let you know in advance that I'm not going to do it that way. You know,
Hmm.
and there are things in that, Ryan, that remind me about who I am, remind me like, oh yeah, that's right. That's how I like to show up in the world.
Yeah.
That feels good. And I think there's other parts of it where it also like expands and it makes me like there's a sense of belonging and like self-inclusion where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's like this is how it can be. So like
Yeah.
this is our co-created, made-up space. Every conversation I have is different. I talk about playing games and outliers, and all that stuff is made up, just so we can have a conversation that allows us to bring all of who we are to the table. And I feel that you're
Yeah,
bringing that from the beginning. So I want to say thank you. Don't think twice about it. We'll just navigate the conversation as it shows up. How's that for you?
cool. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Like so you said something here, like your mission really got me, like prolong life on Earth and maximize the quality of life on Earth. Like
Yeah.
that really hit me. And like once you said like I wrote down the 200 words of your truths and what was the other thing? It was your truths and
Life intentions.
yeah,
Yeah.
truth and life intentions. I was like, oh yeah, like I immediately I found myself like questioning like in like a meaningful way where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, look, he's done the work, or he's doing the work. Like
Hmm.
he's taken the time to calibrate his world and go from there. Um, and I know that like we're coming on here because you've done something extraordinary to help prolong life on Earth here. So do you mind letting us know? I know that there's something that you're bringing out to life that you're sharing out with the world. You mind let us know more about that?
Yeah. Do you want
In
like
particular,
the
in particular.
origins? Or you want me to, I'm trying
Well,
to figure out like how long to go
yeah, yeah, yeah.
here.
Let's go with this here. You wrote a book,
I
right?
did.
Yeah, tell us about the book real quick. Let's be on that for a little bit.
Cool. The book is called Your Guide to Climate Action: How to Move Beyond Your Footprint and Make a Big Impact. And the whole gist of it really, it's for people who care about climate change, are worried, are, overwhelmed, angry, sad. We have so many emotions around this massive, daunting topic. Um, but if you care about climate and ecological breakdown and want to do something about it, this is kind of the guide that I wrote to help anyone who falls into that category, whether you've like never really done much of anything before on climate action or you've been working on it for years. I tried to put something together that's going to be helpful for anyone along that spectrum. And the gist of it is really like, there's a lot of really good books on climate change and a lot of really good like action lists and tips, but most of them really are focused on reducing your personal footprint. And what I did with this book, like that's included. There's a chapter or two on the personal footprint stuff, but I think we all need to be thinking and acting on a much like bigger scale and realizing that we're a part of systems that are bigger than us and we can influence those systems. So, like the town you live in or the city you live in, the company you work for, if you're a student, the school you go to, we are the people. If we belong to them, we influence the decisions being made there. And it's those decisions which are going to determine, uh, the future of the planet. So, collectively, if you like add them all up together in all the towns around the world, the companies around the world. And so yeah, this is a book to help people understand their power and exercise, use that power to change the systems they're a part of. And that not only um, is going to help solve climate change. You can't really like totally solve climate change, but make things as good as they can be. And it's also going to make your life better because there's so much connection and meaning and health, like improving health that is goes hand in hand with these actions. So that's the gist.
I love how that's only the gist. The part of what I was thinking about while we were talking here was uh like how much I'm excited to get my hands on it.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, and it's like it's maybe for different reasons than you think. Like I wouldn't say that like I'm a climate change like warrior, but like I
Hmm.
believe in it. I'm like we need to do our parts with it. But I also think that there's an element of being active in leadership and being able to see how do you like I'm thinking about let me not even say the royal you. How do I
Yeah.
continue to enact change or to stand for things or to see the systems around me and to um the word adequately and appropriately are the ones that come in, but they don't feel powerful enough,
Hmm.
to effectively like navigate those systems to be able to see more of the change that I want to see. All right.
Yeah, totally.
And I think about that from a business side of things. I think about it from the Outliers Edge movement and the World of Difference movement. It's like there are various movements here, uh, I know for me, I can be caught in you catch me at a time where I'm like, I want to go beyond the feelings that people get when they're around me. Like people are like, wow, I feel super energized. Like I feel like I can take on the world. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, it does happen when it comes to me. The question is like, will you take on the world? Like that's what I care about. So when I hear you talk about this guide, I'm like, oh, in a lot of different ways, I've been looking for a guide of how to like show up there. So I'm interested in like the practical things I'm going to get specifically related to climate change, but I also see that as just like a way to be able to activate yourself beyond just like your immediate sphere and into
Yeah.
larger systems. What do you make of that, Ryan?
I think you're spot on. It's written for climate action. And I'm thinking two things right now. One is there's this whole section on multi-solving. So even if climate change isn't your number one issue, but you care about it, maybe you care about social justice, environmental justice, economic justice. Um, climate touches everything because it is a part of everything, and everything we do affects the climate, and everything that changes in the climate is going to affect us. And so there's ways to uh, integrate like whatever it is you care about and solve both for climate and that thing. It's kind of a like we're taking actions that are a win-win economically, environmentally, socially. Um, and can you repeat your question? Because I'm forgetting the other direction I was going
I
to
don't
take this
remember it
in.
either, man.
It was good.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. I'm sure it will show up as needed.
Oh, I think I remember. It was yeah, so it's written to help people change the systems they're a part of. And then because it's like a how-to on how to change those systems, like you could theoretically use it for other things as well. It's about like organizing and leadership and how to have effective conversations and all the like tools you would need to make bigger changes and organize and collaborate with people, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. And like, I want to say thanks because like as you started saying that, I was like, oh, this is a connection I'm trying to like make. I'm trying to figure out how do I organize in business, like leverage movements for business. But there's
Mm,
more. It's all same, like it's same but different. Like
yeah.
they have um impacts upon itself. So you're also in a great place because like outliers here, like not only do we stand for things in the world, but we're also very multi hyphenate. So multi problem solving, like multi
Hmm.
solving at the same time. Like, yeah, we get that, right?
Love
And
it.
yeah, and the component of being able to see a problem and be able to come up with a solution that like not just hits that one element, but also has ancillary benefits or like indirect benefits. Like
Yeah.
that's the place we choose to play.
Yeah. 100%. We need a lot more of that thinking.
So Ryan, it would have been easier for you to like not write this book. So like why? What made you say like now is the time? And like yeah, let's go with that. What made you say like now is the time? Why was it important for you to write this now?
Yeah, so that's going to take us a little bit further back in time. Before I started writing the book in March of 2023, but the 5, 6 years before that, I was actually running a nonprofit that I'd started called Crowdsourcing Sustainability. And the whole purpose of that was to, help stop global warming and make the world safer, healthier, and more just. And doing that through educating, inspiring, and empowering people to change the systems they're a part of. And so the main thing with this nonprofit, it didn't start as a nonprofit. It started as like a newsletter and a blog. And just the newsletter that I wrote every week kind of took off. And it got so big that I was like, oh, I'm going to turn this into a nonprofit. But so anyway, I'd written the nonprofit ended for various reasons. I burned out a bit. We didn't have enough money, and I was just like kind of spending more time on things that I didn't want to be doing as it got bigger. And so it ended, but when it ended, I'd just written like 200 plus newsletters on this topic, and I had a podcast, so I'd spoken with dozens of experts, and I was kind of just, I'd spent 5, 6 years diving into this stuff and being like, how can I empower people? And it ended, and I was just like, I think I need to write a book before I go do the next thing because this is all just all over the place right now. Like people aren't going to find a random newsletter 5 years later. Maybe they'll stumble across one, but I just wanted to put everything in one place and make it neat and tidy and useful and in like a physical form for people to get guidance on climate action.
Some of the things I love about this here is like one, you started with action. It like this is this isn't like a collection of your thoughts. This is a collection of your experience,
Yeah.
and you've gone through the process of like having the multiple years of actually experiencing it, having to actually lead something to success, and to continue growing it through it. And we'll talk a little bit about like the parts you didn't want to do, like as it because it goes on too. Because I think it's good. I think it's really good to like call in for us outliers, like you know, um, the way that like the thing that we're building right now, like well, like with us doing it the right way, it will just keep growing,
Hmm.
and that which we're doing might change and shift and grow, and
Yeah.
how do we navigate that? How do we make that shift going? I
Yep.
get that. But yeah, there's something here where it's like you actually just did the thing, and you put yourself in a position to do the thing. Uh, and sorry, Ryan, I'm also recognizing and one more thing that's coming up. You actually did start with writing, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't writing one book and saying I had to get the whole book out there. And you wrote a bite-sized newsletter. I would assume bite-sized, even like no matter like compared to the book, you
Yeah.
know. And you started with that and allowed that to get its own traction, and then continue to build out. It feels like you're really good at meeting what the world is asking of you. Let me check in with that real quick because it feels like everything you said is like I started with this newsletter and I was ready to complete. But when I was done, I was like, I actually need to codify all this before I can actually let it all go. So let me check
Yeah.
in with that with you on that.
Yeah. I meeting what the world is asking of me. I think of it more as so I mean, I'd been back in college, when climate like crossed my radar for the first time. Well, at first I kind of was like, this is scary, but I'm like, no one's talking about it. I'm not worried about it. So like I got stuff to do. I'm in college.
Mhm.
And then within a year it came up again. And I was just like, why isn't everyone talking about this? Why aren't we doing more about it? And made a promise to myself within a year after that that like I was going to find a way to make a career out of working on this problem. And so, I worked in clean tech for a few years after school, and I left that and I was traveling for a bit. And that's when I wrote The Truths in Life Intentions, actually. And um, I just felt like I had things that I needed to say. So it wasn't necessarily that the world was like asking me to do it. It was more, I don't hear people thinking about and talking about this in the way that I'm thinking about it. And I would regret not trying to like share this sort of real talk on this real important issue, but also talking about it in a way that isn't all doom and gloom and like always offering something that you can do that's going to be like meaningful. And like I'm all for recycling and bringing your own grocery like bag to the store. But like when you think about climate change, like those aren't going to solve the problem. So there's like this mismatch in terms of huge scary problem, recycle, and like that's going to solve it. Like no, that's not how that works. And so trying to find something that's more effective and meaningful and giving people the tools and kind of encouragement that they need to step up in that way and work on the problem um, kind of at the level that it deserves from us. I don't know if that answered your question, but
Like let's just keep going because I see you're gonna find with me like I don't remember my questions. Like that's like it's recorded. Let that happen, right? Like the only point of the question is to get us into conversation.
Mhm.
And one of the things that came from me as you were saying was like as you were talking was the thought of like to combat a system, like you need at least a system, you know? And that was what was running through me where it's like hey look, there's things that we're doing and they make sense on the individual level, but like what I get about you, Ryan, is that like you work more on a systemic level. You're like, all right, how do we there are actors in place where like they have decided to organize in ways that will create millions of like times more than what one individual person can do. However, if we also get the organization, whether it's however the system comes together in there, and we play with the right leverage points, we can also apply enough pressure to be able to either combat it or create enough positive good in the world that like it
Yeah.
effectively mitigates make the issue. Let me see. I'm extrapolating from what you're saying there, but it's fun to talk to someone who's like, I want to actually solve this at the level in which it's taken place rather than
Yeah.
just like, yeah. So share with me what do I need to know? What's coming up for you as I say this?
Yeah, I think you got it. The main thing is we're all a part of different systems of different sizes, and it's extremely overwhelming to think about the if we're just talking about Earth, like the biggest system, like all the countries, there's 9 billion people now, and you know, we're probably not going to have a ton of influence in some other country necessarily. But if you bring it back down to your level and you look at I think of them as like the mid-sized systems that you're a part of. You've got the town or city you live in. And so I have this chart in my book that's like your spheres of influence, and it's of the greenhouse gas emissions for each thing. And the average American is like 19 tons of greenhouse gas pollution, which is a lot. Like tons, that's 2,200 pounds for every ton. Um, but it's like it doesn't even show up on the chart compared to the company that you work for, most likely if it's like a mid-sized company or the town or city you live in or the school you went to. The school I went to was like 6,000 people, and that was like 70,000 tons of CO2 compared to like the average American is at 19. The state I live in is Vermont, tiny state, like one of the least populated states. Its greenhouse gas footprint's like 8 million tons. But like these are places we belong, and most importantly, they're the places we have relationships. And because we have relationships there and we're a part of these mid-sized systems, we have influence. And when you organize with other people, we get more people power, and you can sort of push on, like you said, the levers that are most important, which is often the decision makers. And we have influence over the decision makers. We can kind of steer them in certain directions when we get enough people and we are strategic enough about it. And if they're not doing the things that need to be done for like the well-being of everyone, we're going to have to find ways to put new decision makers in there. And that's another thing that organizing and people power can make happen. So yeah, I just like to think of like not being overwhelmed by everything and focusing on what it is that we can control and where we have our most power, and using that power to make the best difference that we can for ourselves and our community. And um, obviously not just our community, because when we make these changes, it's also helping all life around the earth in the present and future for generations to come. But just like being aware of the power we have and trying to put it to good use because it's easy to feel overwhelmed. It's easy to feel powerless. But the like eat the I forget who said it's in the book, but there's the easiest way you give up your power is by like thinking you don't have any. And when we think we don't have any, we effectively don't. And we give it to someone else, and that's often corporations. Um, so that's how I think about it.
I'm gonna ask outliers here to take some time right now to think about like your own power. Like it's nice having conversations where like power enters into the space, right?
Yeah.
And
People don't talk about power that much.
no, no, I think it's really interesting because you know there's a side of me right now, Ryan, as you're talking, I'm like, oh, you would get it. Like there's I know I'm sparking a global conversation about something, right? But I'm like, I know it's not climate action. I don't know what like I haven't been able to put my finger on it per se right now. But
Mhm.
there was something you said earlier around like um I have to use my language because when you said it,
Yeah.
it hit me, but I interpreted it differently. But it was something along the lines of like, for the future that we want to see, if the leaders who are currently leading aren't the ones that are going to lead it, then it's like we're going to need a new set of leaders to come through. All right,
Yeah.
and like that's what's actually led to the creation of Outliers Edge. You know, it's really been this element of like, oh, like if we need to if I want to see something different in the world, like who's going to be the one that to get it? I'm like, it's probably not going to be the people who are thinking about this like everyone else, like the average, the norm, like all that. Like they're going to reinforce the current status quo. So a leader coming from that, like from that lens and that particular way of thinking is probably going to get me more of what I already have, which I don't want, you
Mm.
know? And so that led me to think about like, all right, so who would be the people who wouldn't have to change themselves to like go and adopt a future that could be really bright or like in a more in alignment? I'm like, oh, those are the outliers. Those are the people who are already at the outskirts and they're like naturally living a life that's different. And it's just like the next thing for them is to write the book, you know, then to go tell people that about, you know, like it's a very different game than trying to yeah, so like as you're talking, you're it's reinforcing some of the loops that I had created in the past for myself. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like there's a reason behind this, you know?
Yeah.
And allies, I'm just going to invite you right now to think about this for yourself in terms of the different levels of power you have, or different like the power that you have inside of you, as well as the power you have around you to leverage. I think Ryan, you're giving us a chance to be able to sit back and not just, or maybe it's not even sit back, maybe it's lean forward, but not just consider things as we are as we typically might see them, but instead really take account for where the power is in our world. And what's fun about it too is I feel like there's this element of like if you of being able to reclaim that which is already yours. You know, I feel that there where it's like, wait, if we become aware of it again, then we can say, oh, I'm sorry, I abdicated this power to you because I didn't use it, but I'm taking it back because
Yeah.
I'm going to use it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had two things pop into my head. One,
please.
the person who said the quote, I'm pretty sure is Lily Tomlin,
Okay, nice.
just because I
Yeah.
wanted. And then,
Attribution.
yeah, the other thing though is I'm really big on, and you might be the same. I just think everyone has something valuable to contribute and can exercise their power. And so even though many don't, I think we all have like the capacity to do that. And I think we need so many people to be courageous and step up in the ways that are like authentic to them. Um, and doing the things that their like gut and intuition and heart are telling them that they should be doing.
Let's talk a little bit about the courageous part, right? And step it up because um one, you know, I'm with you on that. And while you were saying that, I was like, all right, what's stopping people from doing it, so on and so forth. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think it's actually pretty obvious what stops us from it. It's like there's like honestly, if I want to be honest, I'm like, it's life or death in a lot of different ways. It's our livelihood. It's will I still be accepted? Will I be cast out of
Hmm.
this area? And like as humans growing up evolutionarily, like if you're the only one on yourself, your genes gonna get passed down. You know, so
Yeah.
like we're the people who decided to stay with each other. You know,
Yeah.
like that's like going back to like us all being cousins, right?
Yep.
Um, and so I think there's something in this space where when you talk about courage, I'm like, all right, now let's get to this here. What and let's keep this grounded, and I'm going to keep it grounded in the now and through both of us here, so that we don't get into the hypotheticals about it and like miss where people actually are, right? So,
Hmm.
what would you say for you right now with all the things that you've done? You know, you started with the newsletter, it kept evolving. You're where you are right now. Like, what requires courage for you right now? What's the thing that's putting you out on your edge?
Um, the two things that come to mind are writing the book as authentically and vulnerably as I could. Um, because I just think that even if it feels uncomfortable to say certain things, I think it's important to put that stuff in there. I think that's a lot of what good writing is like saying some things you might be a little scared to say, or just like you feel vulnerable sharing. And oh, I'm so bad at this. I had one other thing that I wanted to say, which was probably the better thing. Um, oh, for me, this doesn't feel like courageous, but I'm at the point where I need to like promote the book, market the book, talk about how awesome the book is. And I genuinely believe it's awesome and useful, and early readers are loving it. But I'm not like a sales guy. And I don't like the center of attention. Like I don't like being in the spotlight or anything like that. I don't want to like go on a book tour. But so I think courage for me now is doing the things that I don't want to do and am uncomfortable doing, and kind of putting the impact that I want the book to have, both for the world and for like the people who read it, like making their lives better and also making our world better. I think I need to keep that top of mind to get myself to have the courage to do the things that I don't want to
I'm sorry. I realized I started smiling. If y'all are watching this on the video, like it
do.
was really unfair. I'm so sorry, right? Because I was following you. I'm like sitting here, I'm taking notes, and I
Yeah.
just had this idea come to mind that was really funny. Which is because you said,
What
do
you
my
got?
question? Yeah. Because you
Yeah.
said like, now I'm in a place where like courage is like doing the things I don't want to do. And I started laughing because I'm like, is that the whole reason you stopped the nonprofit? Like it's a different set of like things you didn't want to do. Like you're like I'm finding myself doing like no matter what, you can't escape it. Like that
Yeah.
was what
There's
was going
always
on here.
something.
There was
Yeah.
always something. So I was just smiling at that particular comment there, and showing up in it. Some things that were flowing for me. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. I appreciated like the things that were coming from me was when you said about talking about like sharing the things that feel vulnerable. You said like that's good writing, but at the same time, like when you said that, like in my mind, I was like, but that's what also is like claiming the power, right? It's like the vulnerability has power over you. The systems like around you have made it such that I have two young kids. Like they're not worried about they don't think about things as courageous or
Yeah.
vulnerable or not. They're just living. And then like our system tells them that's not appropriate. That's not it. And now they then have to come and go through this learned behavior.
Yeah.
And so like,
Socialized.
yeah, so I think that's when you say like it makes good writing, it probably does, but I think it's what makes it powerful because it's like in some way you've gone back and said, "Hey, I'm taking this thing back here and I'm not going to let it have power over me." And in doing so, we get to see what it's like to not have like the things in our lives hold the same kind of power over us. It's a new idea that's coming to mind. I want to get your thoughts on it, and I'm gonna come back to you some of the other things you said.
Um, can you reiterate it a little bit?
Yeah, I'll read it in this way here. Um, that I think the central point that I want to get your thoughts on is that vulnerability and acting through vulnerability, whether it's courageous or not, is actually one form of reclaiming your power.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Uh, it's it's claiming your power. I also think it's huge for it's a way of being honest with yourself.
Mm.
And when you're honest with yourself, there's opportunity for change and growth and reflection. And I think it's also an opportunity to connect with other people because, I mean, relationships are, there's studies that say it's like the most important thing for our happiness is how close and strong our relationships are. And being vulnerable is absolutely key to that. Um, so that's kind of what pops up for me. But I think being vulnerable is really, really important.
I, I like playing around with these things, so I appreciate you, Rep. The And I think part of why it's because you said it doesn't feel courageous, right? And I also really love that because a lot of times one of the reasons I have the conversation is the way that I do, and you'll hear me reflect back what I'm experiencing and what's coming like, is because I had a mentor. He said we often compare how we feel on the inside with how others look on the outside. You know,
Hmm.
how we feel on the inside with how others look on the outside. And so I experience that for myself in many different ways. But there's times where I'll go through and let's say this: I've had hundreds of people come through this podcast, right? And I'm meeting most of them for the first time while we're doing it, right? And
Yeah.
someone else might think to themselves, "Wow." Like how courageous. I could never go and create one of these things. I'm like, this is like the easiest thing. Like I wrote a book. I didn't put that out in the world. Ryan's actually going out and doing the world, like doing that work out there. And so there was this element of, I'll talk about courage, but the more and more I get into it, I try and see like what are the variations, what are the paths that take things out of having to be the courageous, like that get you to the same end goal, but don't have to go through the path of courage. It's part of the reason why I asked you, like,
Hmm.
tell me about the game that you're playing. It's like, oh, if I was playing a game about this, then maybe it's not as heavy. Maybe it's not as like, maybe it's not
Yeah.
as work, maybe I don't need to be as vulnerable in it. We're just running. Like I hate
Right.
working out, but I'll play on my beach handball team. And it turns out that I'm
That's how
exercising.
I roll.
Yeah. Tell
I'm
me more.
terrible at getting myself to work out, but I will play any
Yeah.
sport or game anytime.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's like, oh, look at that. So that actually, we're gonna start wrapping up, but I am curious here. This is now Niiamah just being Niiamah here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious about how this like getting the book out into the world, right? And like why this is probably a more why does it have to be any different than like organizing for change like like different levels? Like is this way of getting the book out in the world like recycling? And like what would like in my mind I'm
Hmm.
thinking about this here because I like to apply what you say and like trying to see like how would that work if that was a lens I'd supposed to take on. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, what would it work like? What would getting the book out like mean on the municipal level or on like the
Yeah.
town
Yeah.
level? Like what is that? Are we playing that game right now? Or are we doing like or it's just more like the recycling game? I don't know the answer to it, but I'm curious about it because I'm like, you already know how to play that game. You already know how to you wrote a whole book about it,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how do we not use the tools that most plebeians would use? Most people would use most like there's something that you already have that you already know that I'm like, what isn't being applied here? Anything
Hmm.
come to mind for you? Like nothing has to, but like it's just an interesting. I'm thinking about it now as we're talking.
I don't know about not being applied off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um, because again, like I'm like turning that switch from
Yep.
finishing the book. I haven't even sent the print version in yet to be
Yep.
print. I haven't seen the first print copy. The ebook's
Oh,
been
that's
out for
good.
like a couple of weeks, but the print is being finalized as we speak.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I th- if we compare it to recycling, like my mind goes to this book will if someone reads it and it clicks and they're in the right place and like ready for action and want to do more, they care
Yeah.
about climate, if that person reads this book,
Yeah.
I see it empowering them to take the next step forward in their climate journey. Like that's right for them. Like there's a
Yeah.
whole chapter that's like finding your place in the climate movement. It's helping people to use their unique skills, ideas, experiences, resources, networks, and like finding that path forward for themselves. And so I think it I think it's an extremely powerful tool because it's inspiring, empowering people, and
Mm.
people are the ones who make decisions and change the direction of our future. Um, in terms of like tools to get the book out,
Don't worry, don't worry. You don't have to like speak to it in this moment. It was just
yeah,
like there was just you brought in new paradigms of thinking,
yeah, yeah,
for me. And I was like, I wonder if this paradigm also would apply here, you know? And what ways would I like, 'cause I do a lot of like coaching and I'm here to change the world. And like, oh, if we can just help one person and that
yeah,
person's leading an organization, is that it? I'm like, yeah, but I could also like just like have the movement, like I
yeah,
like you like that I could also be that person. So I try and think about this like as you're saying, that was just like an interesting component to me. I was like, oh, if it feels like work, and what is it that you know? What are the tools that you already have at your disposal that most of us don't? That almost
yeah.
no one else on this planet would go and tell you to do because they just that don't have your experience. I'm like,
Hmm.
is there an organizing way to do this to get this book out there? These are the
Yeah.
things that go out through the back of my mind. We can talk about it more
This is
tomorrow, but
great.
it's this like,
Yeah.
like I'm just like,
The
how do you just keep
creative
doing what you're
thinking.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's evolving what you know already works and being like, how do I leverage what I know already works for this environment rather than
Yeah.
like having to change that up because this is how you're supposed to promote a book or whatever it is.
Yep.
And I believe strongly in that. Like I'm like, all right, like this is how like how many levels can you take yourself up into? So
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that, Ryan. It just like it
I
struck
love
me.
that thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
Creative
keep
outside the box. That's
yeah.
where the magic happens.
We're gonna keep playing with that in the long run. But for today, we're gonna end our conversation here. Outliers, I'm gonna speak to you. This was fun. This was fun. And if you had a good time with this here, and if you know someone in your world who would really benefit from listening to this conversation, my ask is that you share this with intention. Honestly, we believe in what we call the one person, one conversation at a time initiative. Like, please go out and let your whole networks know about this here. I think this book is going to be amazing. So I'm excited to get my hands on it, Ryan. Like honestly, but also join us like and think about like who's one person in your life who would really benefit from this conversation, and send it to them with intention. Let them know like, hey, like I heard this conversation. I was thinking of you. Check it out. There's something about this here that like I feel like if we do this book, this conversation, it's going to get to the right next person over and over and over and over again. And so, hello from Niiamah in the past to all of y'all in the future who this just got sent to. There's something about this where it's like if we keep paying this forward in the right way, the right next person's going to get it. It would mean the absolute world to me if you didn't. All right.
The ripple effect.
Yes,
Powerful.
exactly. Exactly. All right. And it's like, because I've done this enough where I'm like, I know I can get a podcast episode and it's just like a quick like wave through and then it's like done. It's like, or we can like have this continue to provide benefits years and years and years into the future.
Yeah.
All right. So Ryan, we're going to end here. The way to end each conversation is we're going to put outliers to the side.
Hmm.
And what we're going to do is like you can let us know the best way for us to move forward with you. So if you can let us know the best way to move forward with you, and then also every conversation I have, the intention is for each of us to leave here better than when we started. So if that ended up happening for you, would you mind sharing with us an insight or a takeaway that you're taking from today's conversation that applies to you?
Hmm. Um, I'll go with the first one first. Uh, if people want to get in touch, follow up, keep up with my work, the best way is probably if you just Google like Act on Climate Substack newsletter by Ryan Hagen, it'll pop up. It's also on LinkedIn, Act on Climate newsletter. That's actually the bigger one, but I post the same thing in both places.
Mhm.
Um, Takeaways or like things that stick out. I mean, my big thing is really just like emphasizing how important I think it is to be authentic and to like listen to that little voice in yourself. That's so easy to like drown out with screens and like constant intaking, uh, digesting information from the internet, just like coming at us from all directions, but like being quiet and listening to your intuition and like what your gut is telling you, and having the giving yourself the time and space to like reflect on that, and then like finding the courage to move forward in the ways that are best for you and best for your community and our world. But like trusting yourself on that voice.
I love it. I love it. Well, Ryan, I appreciate you. Thanks for using your voice. Thanks for continuing to put it out here. It's been an absolute pleasure being in space with you. Outliers, until the next time we all talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.
Thanks, Niiamah. This was great.